So, this Saturday, I went and saw The Batman. Without any trailers or promo material. Needless to say, I was blown away by how shitty this fucking audience was. Because this movie is a fucking masterpiece. A straight 9 out of 10. A fucking classic for the future. Has flaws like the Nolan trilogy, but god damn, it is on the level of Dark Knight. This is probably the first Batman media to take the Riddler seriously, except for Gotham, but we don't talk about Gotham. We don't talk about Gotham, we don't talk about Gotham. But, alright, enough with the bullshit. Riddler in this movie, of course, took serious inspiration from the Zodiac Killer, having his own cipher and sending messages to the cops and so on. But Riddler isn't the only well-made character. Every single one of these characters are amazing in their own way. Batman still hasn't figured out when he needs to be in this movie, and by the end he does. Gordon realizes that his police force was more dirty than he thought, and Riddler realizing is that listening to your psycho next door friend in Arkham is always a good idea. But let's talk a bit more about the characters. Bruce in this film is still young, inexperienced, and doesn't know what Batman or Bruce Wayne need to be for Gotham. He isn't a playboy millionaire like in the Nolan trilogy, which is very good for its own reason. As I said before, Bruce is still young and doesn't realize that he can help Gotham as Bruce Wayne. As Batman, Bruce thinks he needs to be vengeance, like he says, to put fear in criminals, and the arc he goes through this movie shows him that he needs to be more than vengeance, but also a hope for the people of Gotham. To show them that someone out there is looking out for them, not just beating up criminals. This is a story that utilizes Batman's detective skills and shows us that Riddler can trick him. Batman isn't the world's greatest detective yet, and he learns that if he wants to help Gotham and the GCPD, he has to learn how to be that detective. Riddler is amazing. This is what the character is meant to be. Because he is smart, he can trick Batman, and he does so in this movie. You see, Riddler here thinks he and Batman are working together to stop the crooked system in Gotham. This, in fact, helps Batman see what he has been doing wrong this whole time. You see, Riddler is an orphan, and he has been shoved away every moment in his life, so he thought, hey, it's my time to shine. And he put Batman on the edge in this movie, which again, is what Riddler should be. Not only that, but Riddler wins! In the literal sense, of course. The new mayor doesn't die, but he does flood Gotham in the end. He does show them that he's now worthless, and that he won't be pushed aside again. Alright, now that we've talked about our protagonist and antagonist, I want to talk about some amazing scenes in this movie, since most of the characters haven't gone through an arc yet, but are very good characters like Catwoman and Gordon. I think this representation of Gordon is the best one ever since The Dark Knight, and Batman, like, The Dark Knight Rises, of course, but this Gordon is the best one. And this is the best Catwoman we've seen on screen, and I hate to say this, since Gotham, because that was the only other serious Catwoman we've seen since The Dark Knight Rises. Alright, now for the scenes. For number 1, this is ranked, the number 1 scene is the car chase scene. This take on the Batmobile is just amazing. It isn't a fucking tank or a goddamn war machine, but it's a normal car with a jet booster, which when I say it like that does sound fucking crazy, but I really like it because in this universe, this is the first model Batman uses. This scene is brutal because as soon as we think Batman has lost his target in the fire, he jumps off of a flaming truck in the Batmobile. And it is so awesome. Although there doesn't seem to be concern for dead civilians, which does kind of make this awkward. But still, this is an amazing scene. The Riddler's interrogation in Arkham. Oh my god. This scene is on the level with Joker's interrogation in The Dark Knight, because Riddler holds the cards. He's in control. He also makes Batman, and us, the audience, indirectly, think he knows Bruce's identity. And finally, when Batman tells him that they aren't working together, that he is alone, he literally starts wailing. He realizes that he's truly alone and that he wasn't working with Bruce at all. You see, at the start of the scene, Riddler thinks they're working together. He's so happy Batman came to see him. But at the end, after he wails, he realizes that Bruce didn't actually find the last riddle, the last clue, the last piece of the puzzle. You see, this is so amazing because it shows us even more that Riddler is a serious threat, and this is the best take on the character yet. Alright, number 3. This isn't a serious scene, but there's one scene where Gordon and Bats interrogate Penguin, and Gordon and Oswald just start shouting at each other with New York accents. And it is the funniest shit ever. Because, oh my god, it's just so funny. They go, "Would you look at it?" with a New York accent. I have no clue how to make a New York accent. Don't quote me on that shit. This movie as a whole is on the level of Nolan's trilogy, and I love those films and this. This movie took great inspiration from Nolan, and I think that is part of why it works. But put this movie on its own. Say Nolan's trilogy never existed, and it is a masterpiece. A lot compared to Spider-Man No Way Home since they came out around the same time, but my honest opinion, the hype for these films is different because The Batman is a great film, and Spider-Man is a good film, but a perfect homage to 20 years worth of a character. Overall, The Batman is a movie that I'm sure I'll be rewatching multiple times, and I can't wait for the sequel because the setup to the next movie is amazing. Again, I give it a 9 out of 5 out of 10. Only for the car scene because there's a lot of death in it. Thank you for watching. I've been Sloth, and see you never.